The British pound is still going down. On this chart, we have evidence that the British pound is not recovering from its actually long time fall against Swiss franc and also against other currencies and other assets like gold and silver. On this chart, we can see what is happening with the British pound and how difficult situation for the British pound is keeping the value against other currencies. Look at this chart. This chart shows just 50 years of the British pound against Swiss franc. What we can find out, the findings actually are very simple. Once one British pound was almost 7 Swiss francs, and then it went down to 6, to 5, to 4, to 3, to 1. Today the British pound is just for 1.08 Swiss francs per 1 pound. Let's say what is happening. Just this chart is a clear evidence. Is a clear evidence which is showing very difficult situation of the British pound against Swiss franc. But this Swiss franc is not just a Swiss franc. This is an indicator. This is arrow that is showing us direction for the British pound. As the British pound is also struggling to other currencies, as the British pound is also struggling, let's say, to gold. Look at this chart. Today, 1 ounce of gold costs 2,440 British pounds. So that means 1 gold coin, 1 ounce of gold coin, or 1 gold coin of 1 ounce, with the weight of 1 ounce is 2,440. You have to add up around 100 or 200 British pounds to this value. That means 1 ounce of gold in coin costs today around 2,600. What does it mean? That means everything. As we can see on this chart, that goes back to 2006. Then in 2006, 1 ounce of gold was only 299 pounds per 1 gold coin. 299. Today it is 2,600 pounds. The raw gold cost 2,440 on this chart. From 299 to 2,600. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this rise of gold against the British pound? Actually, can you imagine from British pound going from 7 Swiss francs to 5, to 6, to 5, to 4, to 2, to 1, and you have to ask yourself, what on earth is happening to the British pound? Well, is it just losing value? Why is it losing value? Because United Kingdom actually is in debt, because United Kingdom is printing their money, because United Kingdom had too low interest rate, because United Kingdom is losing influence. Just British pound is going down, that is must go down. It is going down as the Australian currency, Canadian currency, New Zealander currency. What is happening with the Australian currency, New Zealander currency, and Canadian currency? Well, it is even worse than the British pound. As today, one Australian dollar is only around 0.5 Swiss francs. The same with the New Zealander. It is even less than 0.5, and around the same with the Canadian dollar. What does it mean? Does it mean that the British pound can go below 1 Swiss franc per 1 pound? Of course it will. If everything will proceed as in last 50 years, everything will happen again, and the British pound will take the place of the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, and New Zealander dollar, and today's price will halve actually, and you will have to give 2 British pounds per 1 Swiss franc. This is not a joke. This is reality. How on earth would you imagine that 50 years ago 1 gold coin was only 15 British pounds? Exactly 50 years ago, one gold coin cost only 15 pounds, 1 5. Today it is almost 3,000. Can you imagine if that will proceed again? In next 10 years, the one gold coin will be 10,000 pounds, 15,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds, but in 15 years, the 1 ounce of gold will be around 30,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds, and in 30 years, 1 ounce of gold will be 50,000 pounds, 60,000 pounds, 70,000 pounds. In 50 years, if that will proceed the same way as in last 50 years, the 1 ounce of gold will be 200,000 pounds, and this is not a joke, this is maths. This is mathematical formula. Actually, there are already countries with this situation like this, but I have to tell you something. Actually, the situation for the British pound is even more disaster. Why? Because the British pound is going down twice as fast as in last 50 years. That means in next 50 years, 1 ounce of gold would not cost 200,000 British pounds, but 500,000 British pounds. Exactly. 500,000 British pound. The pound will be worthless. Actually, it is going down and down every year, every month, to everything, to dollar, to euro, and to gold, and to silver. We'll look at this chart. Today's silver price content in British pounds is 26 British pounds and 43 pences. But just in 2006 it was 6 British pounds. 6 from 6 to 26. Can you imagine that? Just 20, 30 years ago it was just few pounds. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds per 1 ounce of silver. Today it is almost 30. It is on almost highest level ever. This is what is happening with the British pound. You think that the 1 ounce of gold can cost 200,000 British pounds in 50 years or 500,000 British pounds in 50 years? Of course it can. On this chart we can see quite important currency which is Turkish lira, and Turkish lira just went up from 2,600 liras in 2014. So this is the same number as today to gold, as the new high to gold in British pounds is 2,600, and in 2014 1 ounce of gold in lira was 2,669, and now can you imagine how much is it? 133,000 Turkish liras per 1 ounce of gold. Can you imagine? Just in 10 years, what happened from 3,000 Turkish lira to 133,000? Okay, can you imagine that? So this is not some magic. This is not some dreaming about the fall of the British pound. It can happen even faster than we can imagine. But for sure, if the indicators are going the same way, it will be going the same way as it's been going for last 50 years. The 1 ounce of gold for 2,100 British pounds in next 50 years is guaranteed. But actually, the situation is even more complicated, as the British pound is in worse situation than in last 50 years. Why? Why is that happening? Well, there is China, there is India, and there is United States growing around the world, and Africa and other countries. So the British pound is not needed anymore. Nobody needs lira. That's why the lira is going down strongly. And 1 ounce of gold is 133,000 pounds per 1 ounce, and that can happen to the British pound sooner or later. This is the reality. The British pound is over. The British pound is lost. If I don't know what would have to happen for the British pound to be strong like 100 years ago, because the reality is that the British pound ended half a century ago, and today it is going only on leftovers. Thank you very much. Please subscribe this channel. Please like, follow, please comment, please share it. Thank you. Bye bye. I hope to see you soon.